Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video is something to do with surveillance, counter surveillance. And that is, if you've got a client or yourself are under surveillance, or you think you're under surveillance, or if there's a surveillance threat, you need to work out who could be watching you and who could be following you. At a base level, if you have a client that's been stalked, followed, watched by disgruntled ex-lover, etc., etc., you can take it the professionalism of that person is not going to be top. It's not going to be high. You can take it the stalker is going to be possibly following the target, following the client, if they're your client, on foot, harassing them, possibly getting into their phone these days, or trying to get into their phone, trying to get hold of their passwords, etc. I know of something that's happening at the moment with some lady, and she's got issues with an ex-husband who's hanging around outside of her apartment, following her around, approaching her friends, watching her friends, sending her friends messages on WhatsApp, etc., etc., trying to get the passwords of her phone. He had the passwords of her phone because they were married, so he had access to their joint accounts, etc. So the guy's just been a pain in the ass. That's the basic level, yeah? So let's move up a level. Let's say you've got somebody that's been stalked, watched, or followed by the surveillance on your client, on you, is coming from, say, street criminals, etc. And again, you could be being stalked for various problems. Okay, what can you expect from street criminals? The same level as you can expect from those involved in domestic incidents. Yeah, physical surveillance, watching you, following you, possibly stalking your social media, checking your social media, and trying to watch where you are, what you're doing, who you're talking to, who your friends are, etc. So the thing is with surveillance these days, just of these two basic things, street criminals and domestics, it's not just being counter surveillance aware, physically counter surveillance aware. It's also being aware of your social media, who's got access to your phones, who's got access to your credit cards. You know what, I've got one, I don't use Facebook, but I just get alerts from Facebook all the time telling me people are trying to access my accounts. You know what, best of luck to them, they ain't going to see anything because they're all BS accounts. But this is the thing, you have to be aware of the electronic threat, even at a basic level, not just the physical threat. But again, basic counter surveillance is something anybody that's got any type of issue needs to be aware of. If you're providing consultancy services, if you're providing protection services to somebody, you should brief up your clients on how to be counter surveillance aware and watch out if they've been watched and followed, and also have procedures in place of what they need to do if they are being watched and followed and they think they're going to be threatened. But again, this whole stalker management thing, I think I've got that up in another video. Now let's go up a level. Let's say the threat to you is coming from private investigators, or threats to your clients. And private investigators can be a pain in the ass. I've had it with clients, and I've got one client now that's had a lot of hassle from private investigators. There's a big insurance claim going on, and the big insurance companies will employ private investigators to go out and ensure that the claim is good and the person's not trying to scam the insurance company. This lady got badly smashed up in a car accident, and she has been blatantly harassed by private investigators. Again, what a private investigator is going to do, you got physical surveillance, they've been trying to take pictures, trying to take videos, but also we've had it where private investigators using tracking devices, even though it's illegal in that country, it's illegal. Trying to get access to apartments, which is also illegal. Getting hold of mail, which is also illegal, but that can apply to the lower end of the spectrum as well. We've had it where we believe private investigators got access into this lady's apartment and with a coat hanger or something was hooking out her mail. So again, if you're getting hassled by private investigators, the best thing to do is to report them to the police. If it's physical surveillance, if you're being watched and followed, harassed, treat it the same as a stalker, report them to the police. This lady I know, on her daily rehabilitation walks, she come across somebody lying in the grass with a camera videoing her. Surprisingly, the guy wasn't in a ghillie suit. But the guy was like, she was like, hello to the guy, and he said hello back, and okay, thank you very much, goodbye, fuck off. But all you can really do is report them to the police. Also, report them to their licensing division, if it is a licensed business, and just say they're overstepping their boundaries, they're harassing you. I know one lady in the US, she had private investigators in her garden. In the state she was in, she could have shot them. But again, I told her, just call the police if you don't want to shoot them. Because she was in the state of Texas, people was in her garden going through her garbage and stuff. It's like she would be more than within her rights to shoot them. So from a private investigator's perspective, make sure you're in compliance with the laws and don't go doing anything stupid. If we move up to the next levels, if we move up to government surveillance, and people might be saying, well, why might government agencies be watching you? There's a vast array of reasons, and some are legitimate, some are illegitimate. It depends on the countries you're in. And I'll be doing a video on the future about people that's got political issues, protecting people with political issues. If you're dealing with government surveillance, if you're dealing with organized crime, I'm talking serious organized crime such as narcos, etc., Mexico, you can expect high levels of surveillance, physical surveillance. And also you can take it, they'll be getting access to your phones, etc. Places like Mexico, the narcs have people within the phone companies that can access your phones. They'll be trying to hack your phones, and a lot of times they go through the phone companies. So this is where, if you're under that type of threat, you're going to have big problems. In addition to physical surveillance and making sure you're being watched and followed, if you're being watched and followed by law enforcement, you can't be doing anything aggressive towards them, because you can get your ass arrested quickly. So you have to be very careful, and that is more of a legal thing, and I'll talk about that in another video. If you're somewhere where you're being followed and stalked, watched by organized crime, you got big problems. You need to report that to law enforcement, liaise with law enforcement, and get professional protection, or at least get professional training. You can take it for granted if you're dealing with the top end of people, they're going to try and access to your computers, hack your phones, etc. All you can do for that is limit what you're putting online, limit what you're putting on social media, and change your phone numbers, change your phones, not just the SIM cards, because if whatever they're putting in your phone is in the phone, it'll be in the phone. So you need to physically change the phone and the SIM cards and your numbers on a regular basis. I tell people, you're better off in such situations, you're better off going low tech than high tech. By low tech, I mean avoid the smartphones, go old school, and limit very much what you're putting online, what you're messaging, etc. But again, that would come into your counter surveillance plans, personal security plan, etc. Communications, a very sensitive topic. If you think you're being watched and followed by narcos, by criminals, organized crime, then you need to work out emergency procedures for that, whether it's how to get to a safe area, how to defend yourself, or how to get the hell out of where you are and get to somewhere safe. So, short video on understanding the threats, the different threat levels of surveillance and people that can be watching you, etc. Surveillance is the first step before any action is taken, and to me it's the basis of all security programs, security procedures, etc. So, short video on a very complicated topic. So follow me along on social media. We've got a load of videos up. There'll be more videos going up in the future. We're big on LinkedIn. I prefer LinkedIn at the moment more than any other platform, so follow me along on LinkedIn. But we also have stuff up on Instagram, YouTube, etc. And don't forget, I have an array of books on various security topics and crime fiction on Amazon. So in the meantime, be good, stay safe, and stay out of trouble.